Hi everyone, so I just wanted to quickly jump on here to talk about the differences with our new bunkers compared to our old ones, how they play a little bit differently, and potentially give you a few tips as well that can help you along the way as we're going. So obviously the new bunkers look dramatically different to the old ones, but they also play dramatically different as well. Now the biggest difference that we see in the new bunkers is how deep the sand is and how much sand are in these ones. Obviously the old ones played pretty firm and in the summer pretty dusty as well, so these are almost the direct opposite of that. So I just want to talk about some ways that you can kind of get around that because they are very, very different. So the first thing that I want to talk about, check your equipment and check what you're using. So I've got three different wedges here. I've got a 58 with 6 degrees of bounce, which is very, very low, a 54 with 12, which is high, and then I've got a 50 that sits in the middle, okay? Now, what I want to talk about is this 58. Now, most people really, when they're in a bunker and they're trying to get to a flag, they'll grab the highest loft that they've got, because that's what you'll see on most videos really. YouTube videos will tell you to get the most loft that you can to get it out of the bunker. So with that 58, especially with low bounce, what it does is it makes it really, really sharp, okay? So when we're making that club a little bit sharper, and we've got a lot of sand, and it's very, very deep, of course, all of a sudden, that can dig into the ground quite a lot, okay? So what I want you to do is basically try and change your setup and the way you think about these bunker shots a little bit to try and help that. So with this 58, if I move those out of the way, what I want you to do now, instead of standing to the ball relatively narrow like you would a normal shot, I want you to get much wider. Everything that we're doing here, we're trying to stop going too deep into the ground and digging into the ground as much as we can. So the wider that you go, of course, what that does is it shallows out your whole arc. So your relationship with the ground now is much shallower and less deep into the sand, okay? Now the other thing that you can do is get that ball further forward in your stance. Again, with that ball further forward, by that point in our arc, what will start to be happening is we'll be starting to shallow out. So again, we're not going deeply down into that sand, taking a lot of sand out of it. Okay, and finally, what I'd want you to do is go a little bit further away from the ball and feel like your hands are a bit lower. Again, in this stance, what that does is it shallows our relationship to the ground. Everything we're doing, we're trying to stop you from going too deep into the floor and digging up the sand, okay? Now, even with those things in place, with a 58 with low bounce, the club is still going to be very, very sharp. Now, this shot here, if I try to hit one out, our flag over there is quite a long way away. So chances are with this, I'm not going to get there anyway. But let's say that flag was a little bit closer. Even with this stance, the posture, the ball further forwards, this is still going to really dig into the sand when I hit this shot. So what that's going to mean is the sand's going to take a lot of the energy away from my shot. So I'm going to need a lot more speed, okay? So what I want you to think about with this shot is coming through the shot and really committing to almost propelling the sand out of the bunker as much as you can. Really commit to the shot. It's going to take a lot of speed. So again, ball forward, nice wide stance. Let's put a lot of speed into it. Decent effort, not too bad, but a nice strike, and you can see that I've got a really shallow divot after the ball. If you're struggling with that 58, what you can do is actually go down in loft a little bit. So what I'm going to get here is a 54 degree. Now this 54 has got 12 degrees of bounce on it. So what that does is it makes that leading edge much less sharp. So again, this is going to really help us to cut through that sand and not dig down into the floor. It will skip a little bit more. So now because of that, I'm going to have exactly the same setup. And now from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put less speed into it. Because it's not digging down so much, it's going to transfer a little bit more energy to that golf ball and it'll go a little bit further. So same technique, ball forwards. And what I'm going to do is commit to the shot still. Much less speed, gets out of the bunker nicely and gets up there towards the flag. Now with that, even if you're struggling with that one still, what you can do is go even less loft. So again, what I'm going to grab here now is my 50. So even though this has only got mid bounce, because it's much less loft, again, what that does is it makes it much less sharp. And again, that will help it skip along the sand. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up, but the thing that I'm going to change now a little bit more is I'm going to let that face just open up a little bit more. Now, because I've got so little loft in my hand, it's going to make the ball go really quickly. Of course, I'm going to transfer a lot of energy to the ball, so I'm going to try and make sure I can take off some of that energy now. But the lovely thing that this is going to do is it's going to help it skip along the sand and not dig in. So again, because it's going to transfer a lot of energy, I'm not going to go as firm at it, but I'm still going to commit to the shot. Same stance, nice and wide, further away, ball forward. You can see, even with a 50, that ball pops up nice and high in the air and easy to get through the sand. It really doesn't stick in. Okay, so those are the main things. Make sure you're checking your equipment, check what bounce you've got on your wedges, think about the loft that you're going to use. You don't always have to have your highest loft out of the bunker. Use some different options and use those 3 tips. Okay, wider stance, get that ball forward and get further away with your hands lower.